Hi guys, welcome to my pain cave. It's pretty cold here in England at the moment, cold and wet. So when it's like that, I normally come in here and get on the turbo. So how can you get fitter or keep your fitness as you get older? Well, the key thing, as was mentioned in the first video, and if you haven't seen that, I suggest you look at that first. So if you go to the channel, you'll find that how to get fit in your 50s video. Have a look at that and then come back and join us here. So the main thing when you're getting older is consistency, and it's really important that you give your body a regular dose of effort, of exercise to be fit, but also just healthy. As you get older, things start to decline, your muscle starts to waste away, you get older, you're more fatigued easily or more easily, and by doing some fitness work and training, you can really help reduce that and even maintain it. And I think personally, as you get older, if you can just stay, at your current fitness, you're doing really well, because you're combating that natural decline. So actually you're making positive gains, even by just standing still, as it were, fitness wise. So how often should you train? Well, that's obviously dependent on how much time you've got and what you can actually give to training, whether it's cycling, running, walking, whatever. I try to do 8 to 10 hours a week if I can, especially during the summer. You might be doing 2, 3, 4 hours. It really doesn't make that much difference to you what other people do. It's more about maintaining the effort you're doing, maintaining that sort of training effort to give your body so that it knows what it's meant to be doing. It's really obvious as you get older, as soon as you decline in your training or drop out a week, or I was ill before Christmas for about a month with a chest infection on and off, and that really set me back. And as you get older, you really notice that. So whatever it is you're able to do, if you can do it consistently and then start working on pushing that up, which we'll talk about in another video, you're going to be making gains. So what should you be doing to maintain your fitness or to get fitter? Well, a lot of the year, certainly in the winter and early season, and probably throughout the year really, you should be doing aerobic training. And that is training that you can do for quite a long period of time. You could go out and do it for an hour or 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and you're riding at that sort of level that you can comfortably maintain. It doesn't mean you're taking it really easy. And as you can hear now, I'm talking to you okay, but you can probably tell there's a little bit of extra effort in me keeping up my speech and cycling at the same time. So that really is the level you should be training at. That sort of what they call in cycling nowadays zone 2 effort. So it's not really easy, but it's not really hard either. And if you can get that balance of where you're just, feeling it a bit, but you can still talk and chat, you're probably in the right zone. And if you have a power meter or heart rate monitor, that really helps, because you can see your progress by looking at your heart rate. So for example, with me, I've worked out over a few weeks or months the sort of heart rate I have when I'm doing this effort. And if I want to get fitter, what I need to do is try to push that a bit. But you'll notice naturally as you train that what you could do talking and the effort you could do and maybe the speed you go on a local loop or something like that, you'll notice you do get a bit faster, or you feel like you've got a bit more power, but you're still able to maintain a chat with a riding buddy, and that shows you're getting fitter. If you have got a heart rate monitor or a power meter, or like me, at the moment you're on a smart trainer that gives you that information, you can tell quite easily if you're getting stronger, because for the same heart rate, and for me that's probably about 130, 135 beats a minute, which is about 70%, maybe 75% of my max heart rate. I know that my power I can do at that heart rate has gradually improved. And so now I can do, 10, 15 watts more than I could before at that same heart rate. And that's just working at this sort of level. So as it goes up, like now I know what wattage I can do, what sort of power I can do for a certain heart rate. I know that next time or over a few weeks, I've got an aim in mind at what I would like to be doing. So I'm gradually pushing up the power over that period. So if I cycle an hour or two, whether it's in the garage or outside, I'll try to push up that power for the same heart rate. And sometimes I could do the opposite. I can just fix a heart rate and say I'll keep it at 135, and then on the turbo it's really easy to see what your power's doing. Maybe you're going to need to increase it, maybe you're going to need to decrease it a bit to keep at that heart rate. But gradually, by training, you'll find you can actually do that, and it's working quite well, and your power is going up for the same heart rate. So what else should you be doing? Well, that's for another video really, but if you're doing this sort of training, you want to try to make it probably about 70 or 80%, about 3/4-ish of what you do. So for example, if you do 8 hours a week, probably 6 of them should be at this sort of pace. Because even if you're working at this pace, you'll end up being able to work a lot harder further down the road, literally and metaphorically. But it's a bit like the old adage is a pyramid, and if you have a very small base of a pyramid, you're not going to be able to make it go very high. If you build a big base and you build that really big aerobic engine, and you can use oxygen well, and your body's developed mitochondria, and you're able to push a higher effort for the same heart rate at zone 2, you'll find later on you can build a higher pyramid, and actually your top end, when you're doing hard efforts up hills and things like that, will be much better, and you'll find them easier to do because you were doing this for that sort of length of time in your training consistently. But also one thing you need to do is build in rest. Rest is another whole video really, but when you're being consistent, which is great, you can't be consistent every week working the same amount, the same volume or the same effort. You need to, every now and then, especially as you get older, you need to have rest weeks when you do a little bit less, take it a bit easier, and let your body absorb all that effort you've been doing in the previous weeks. And generally people seem to do it every 3 or 4 weeks. They have that sort of rest period or back off a bit. But as you get older, maybe into your 60s, you certainly need or might need to rest every 2 weeks. So do 2 weeks effort, work hard, and then a week easy, and then another couple of weeks and drop the effort and the volume maybe, just to make things easier and let your body recover properly. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you found it interesting and useful, please like and subscribe so you get to know and see the other videos coming up, and click that bell icon so you're notified when they're uploaded. Okay, thanks.